Um, Hello, ladies and gentlemen, those who can be privileged to watch my YouTube channel. On this video, I want to talk about computer coding or computer programming, or generally about how computers work. Personally, it took me between 15 to 17 years just to make sense how computers work and how to understand coding or computer programming. I'm not like 100% expert, but now I know a lot about how computers work and programmers, how they program and how they write programs, softwares. Okay, this is very important. By saying that it took me 15 to 17 years to understand computer programming and to make sense how computers work, it doesn't mean that you, the one watching this video, if you have interest in computer programming, in understanding computer, it will take you 15 to 17 years now. Okay, it can take you less because I'll try to break it in the simplest terms of how. There are so many videos on YouTube where they're explaining about computer, how computers work, coding, programming, how to write programs. There's so much interest. A lot of people want to know, a lot of people want to learn. They can't understand actually how does a computer work. Because when I was studying myself, okay, to understand computers, I was always, when I break through maybe to get to understand one question, okay, to get an answer of one question, I was getting another question. You see, when I tried to get answer one question, I was getting another question. There are so many YouTube channels, that are explaining about coding, programming, but they are not clear enough because most of them they're just sweeping through. You see, even when you're watching them, they're writing programs, whether they succeed, write a program, write live on their YouTube channels, but so many people can't make sense out of it. They don't understand it. But me, now I understand it. After so many years of studies, now I understand very well how a computer works. And even if I give you advice, okay, if you want to break through to be a computer programmer, okay, if you follow my advice, okay, it will take you just a short time, you will be able to understand, you will be able to write programs, you will be able to do coding, you will be able to do anything with computers, and you will be able to understand, even to fix computers. Just briefly, and just in summary, okay, first of all, in this topic, let me talk about coding and the programming itself. That's the area that I want to talk about. Most importantly, okay, there are so many computer programs, okay, like computer programming languages, and everybody asks this question: why there are so many computer languages that are used, okay, to develop applications or softwares? See, for example, you want to develop your own software, you can't know which programming language to use. It's so difficult to choose. But I'll break it down for you why it's easy for you to choose. First of all, you should know that computer programming languages, they were developed by experts, but those experts are people like you and me. So basically, computer programming languages, there are four types of computer programming languages. Four types of computer programming. I will not go into details what type and which type, but basically you should know some computer programming languages, they are used for example, some they are used for developing websites. Okay. Others, they are used developing applications and softwares. And others are used for games. Okay. In other software, they're used for mobile softwares, to develop mobile softwares, phones. Others are used for networking. Okay, and so many duties, so many activities. So what I'm trying to say is that when you're choosing or you want to understand a computer program, a computer language, and you want to choose a computer language, okay, basically you have to understand the task that you have, what kind of task it is. So the most important thing, okay, quote me here, this is very, very important thing. When you are picking computer programming language, let's say Python, okay, Visual Basic, okay, and the C hash, okay, C++, Java, Javascript, and assembly language, Cobol, any type of computer programming language that you take, the most important thing before you understand, even before you know that language, okay, you must get books, the book that documents that language, or the dictionary of that language. For example, if you take C++, you need to look for or search for the dictionary or the documentation of that language. Okay, that documentation contains syntax or the verbs that are used or abstracts that are used in that particular language. Okay. Sometimes it's not the same with another language, or it's English, yes, but it's different. Okay, so for example, you take Python. If you want to use Python, you have to get the dictionary or documentation, okay, of Python first. Okay, then read it, study that one. You will get how they start, okay, a program when they are designing, when they are writing software. Which word means what, okay, or which word is used for what. For instance, let's say for example, I want to write a game. Okay, maybe I want to write a game in C++. Okay, there will be how I start to write a game. Maybe in C++, I will start to say object compose object equals object compose object. Okay, you see, that is C++. But when you go to Java, it's different. Maybe Java will start with, you see, hash object create object equals, you see, and then $sign. Okay, it goes like that. You see, that is Java. When you go to Python, it will be different. Python will start, maybe Python is only written in capital letters. You see, maybe every instruction is written in capital letters. You see, so the developers of those programs, of programming languages, they had a reason why they changed. Okay, because they were trying to solve a certain problem in another language. Okay, sometimes that's why some people will tell you that why is it if I want to write a computer program, or maybe I want to write a software, okay, or I want to develop a website, why should I use 3 computer languages? Maybe you have to use HTML, you have to use PHP, you have to what for the same software or for the same application. Okay. For example, you want to design a game. They will tell you, okay, if you want to design a game, maybe you have to use Java. Okay. Then after Java, you have to go to maybe another program. On and on. Why is that this case? The reason is that things that are in another language, they are not there in another language. Things that are like abstract, like the properties or the systems that are possible in one language are not possible in the other. So you have to combine those ones. Okay, the tools that you can use in one language, you may not use in another language. So when you use this language, okay, there will be somewhere you get stuck. So you shall have to use another language, okay, so as to fix what is missing in the other language. So basically, what I wanted to say is, if you want to learn computer programming and you want to pick a language, first and foremost, you have to get the documentation of that particular language. Whether it's Python, you have to get documents that explain about Python and the dictionary, okay, that explain every operation of Python. Every text of Python means what? Most of the computer languages, they use punctuations. Those punctuations, they stand for what? Okay. If you get the documentation, you will see all those things they will explain, like punctuation, like question mark. Okay. In Python, it stands for this. Like maybe brackets. In Python, you have to make 2 brackets. Okay. If you finish, all right. When you're finishing, you have to break it with 2 brackets. If you put 1 bracket, it's not complete. Maybe they tell you that every abstract you have to break it down and then indices, and try to push the text, okay, away. Why is that necessary? They will tell you in this language, in that language, it means this, it means that, it means that. The documentation will explain very, very clearly and very well, and it becomes easy for you to understand. So if you want to do coding or computer programming, most important thing, get the documents for that particular language, the dictionary of that particular language that explains every composition, every structure that is used in that particular language and how is it used. For example, there are functions, there are variables. How are they constructed? It's not the same from one language to the other language. It's a little bit different. So it shouldn't be a problem for you to pick a language. If you want to pick a language, you can pick any language. But you should understand the most abstract and important facts, that you should be able to get the documents or documentation of that particular language that explains that language, the construction of the language, okay? And if you want to memorize, you can memorize that, the text, okay? You can memorize it very easily. So in the next video, I will be talking about, I will break down, I will be explaining exactly how computers work. Thank you so much. Watch my video. Please subscribe. And for more videos, I will be trying to break down, to explain the most difficult things that people actually struggle to understand, and I will try to make it easy, like a novice. Like I said, it took me between 15 to 17 years just to make sense, to understand computer coding, and right now I'm going to show you that I know a lot of these things. And you see, to be expert, to know something, and to be able to teach another person that thing is not the same. Okay, those two things are different. Okay, so mostly some people are experts on something, but to teach another person is not easy. So here I will be trying to break down, you see, so that a person with basic education can be a programmer. Okay. With basic education, you can be a computer programmer. You can know computer, and you can be developing your own software. You can be developing your websites. Because let's say, for you to be a computer programmer, you have to go to university and learn computer science, and you see, not everybody can afford that. It's very, very time consuming. It can take a lot of time for you to do that. So, but computers, if in other words, in other countries, like maybe in other countries, It's not taking them that long to understand the coding and all that. Okay, so I will try to break down the most complicated topics that people find difficult. I'll try in my own way to make them easy for every person to understand what exactly it is. So take my word, like I've said, if you want to learn coding, okay, and to be able to write computer programs, even softwares for phones, even computer softwares or programs, the most important thing, you should be able to know the list of computer programming languages. So for example, you can even download some of these computer languages. They have what they call software development environment kit. Okay, this is a software that you download. When you download, you put in your computer. Okay, when you open it, okay, it is like it opens like Word. Okay, but it's very sophisticated, like Microsoft Office. It will show you the abstract examples. Okay, how the structure of that particular language, okay, computer language, goes by. So you'll be able to know that, okay, it goes like this, like this, like this. They give you example, just example. So you just edit that one, you go down, you edit all through, you edit like simple, and then up to the end, you see that you can write